Ciao e bentornati! Welcome back to Pillole D'Italiano. In today's episode number 98, we're going to continue our deep dive in the magical world of personal pronouns. And today, specifically, I want to throw at you quite a few, very commonly used verbs that have indirect personal pronouns. Before we dive in though, this is a reminder of my upcoming vacation. I will be spending 2 weeks in Italy, and that means that during those 2 weeks I will not be publishing anything on the YouTube channel. But if you are one of my email subscribers, you will keep receiving news from me, and you will receive a link to participate in a live Q&A that I will be leading from Italy on June 9th. If you're not signed up to receive my newsletter yet, what you need to do is to go and look in the description of this episode below. You will find the link, you simply need to click it, you will be redirected to my homepage on my website, and there you will find a super easy way to sign up for my newsletter. It's actually on top of my homepage. You cannot miss it. I would encourage you to sign up before June 6th, because that's going to be the date when I will send out an email to everyone with the link to participate in the live Zoom Q&A with yours truly, and the Q&A will take place on June 9th. You'll get all the details once you sign up. I just want to make sure that you don't miss this opportunity to come and ask me anything. Also, if by any chance you cannot make the live Q&A, by being on my list and being one of my email subscribers, you will receive the recording of the event for free. So go ahead, sign up now, and I will see you on June 9th. Back to the episode now. As I said, today I want to focus on the indirect personal pronouns and those verbs that are very commonly used in Italian that require indirect personal pronouns. The tricky thing is to be able to determine if any given verb requires an indirect object or an indirect personal pronoun, because unfortunately sometimes there are verbs that in English are built with direct objects and in Italian will require an indirect pronoun. Let me give you an example. With the verb to ask in English, you can easily say, go ask her. Go ask her for permission. And you don't put anything between the verb ask and her. So you might think, great, the verb ask in Italian is chiedere. I'm going to use the direct pronoun. But in Italiano, chiedere is followed by an indirect object. Chiedere a qualcuno. So you're asking something to someone. Chiedere qualcosa a qualcuno. So you will have to say vai a chiederle. Vai a chiederle il permesso. Go to ask her the permission, literally. This is most likely the trickiest thing that you will be required to do today. Learn to determine if that verb is followed by a direct or indirect object, therefore a direct or indirect pronoun, because today we're talking about pronouns. I want to go down the list giving you the infinitives of these verbs, the full form. For example, instead of corro, correre. Instead of mangio, I would say mangiare, right? So those are the infinitives, just so that we're all on the same page. I'm going to give you a bunch of infinitives followed by their objects. With chiedere, for example, we said chiedere qualcosa a qualcuno, so that you hear what the structure is in the infinitive, and then you can personalize it and create your own sentences. What I'm trying to do, just to try and keep this episode as short as possible, would be to give you the blueprint, let's call it, so the structure with the infinitive and qualcuno, qualcosa, with or without pronouns, so that you can visualize it. You can have clear in mind the blueprint and then one example. Of course, there are many, many examples that you can come up with by yourself. I would encourage you to do so, as always, in the comment section below so that I can give you feedback, or on your own, however you feel more comfortable. But for sake of time, I have to limit the number of examples that I will give you. And for an extra challenge, today I'm not going to give you all the translations. Let's say that I will only give you a translation if the verb is used in an unexpected way, let's say. If that example is more of an idiom. So that you could not possibly come up with the right answer and the right translation on your own, at that point I will provide you with one. Otherwise, that's an extra challenge for today's episode. I will encourage you to translate, to come up with the meaning for every single example that I will be giving. Once more, feel free to leave all of those responses in the comment section below and I will give you feedback on that. Cominciamo. The first on the list is dovere. Dovere qualcosa a qualcuno. Now, normally dovere means to have to or must, but when we use it in this way, we're talking about owing money, basically. So when I ask cosa ti devo, I am basically saying how much do I owe you. Then we have fare qualcosa a qualcuno. Fare qualcosa a qualcuno. The example will be non voleva fargli male. Non voleva fargli male. So he or she did not want to hurt him. He or she didn't want to do bad to him, literally, fargli male. So that person did not want to hurt him. Then we have dire qualcosa a qualcuno. Dire qualcosa a qualcuno. And my example is che cosa ti hanno detto? Che cosa ti hanno detto? Let's move on to dare qualcosa a qualcuno. Dare qualcosa a qualcuno. My example is va bene se vi diamo un consiglio? Va bene se vi diamo un consiglio? And next, parlare di qualcosa a qualcuno. Parlare di qualcosa a qualcuno. My example is perché non le parli del tuo problema? Perché non le parli del tuo problema? Moving on to pensare a qualcosa or pensare a qualcuno. Pensare a qualcosa or qualcuno. My example is quando sei al lavoro, mi pensi? Quando sei al lavoro, mi pensi? Then we have credere a qualcosa or credere a qualcuno. Credere a qualcosa or qualcuno. My example is non ci credono mai. Non ci credono mai. And like we said at the beginning, chiedere qualcosa a qualcuno. Chiedere qualcosa a qualcuno. My example is gli hanno chiesto il conto. Gli hanno chiesto il conto. And now let's look at portare qualcosa a qualcuno. Portare qualcosa a qualcuno. Ti ha portato un regalo? Ti ha portato un regalo? And now we have togliere qualcosa a qualcuno. Togliere qualcosa a qualcuno. And my example is mi hai tolto le parole di bocca. Mi hai tolto le parole di bocca. You can probably guess correctly the literal translation of this expression, but what it really means is you read my mind, you said the thing that I was thinking about, so I didn't have to say it. Let's move on to tenere qualcosa a qualcuno. Tenere qualcosa a qualcuno. Le tengo la borsa quando va in bagno. Le tengo la borsa quando va in bagno. And let's see comprare qualcosa a qualcuno. Comprare qualcosa a qualcuno. My example is i nonni ci compravano sempre il gelato. I nonni ci compravano sempre il gelato. Moving on to vendere qualcosa a qualcuno. Vendere qualcosa a qualcuno. My example is vivendo i miei libri usati. Vivendo i miei libri usati. Then we have passare qualcosa a qualcuno. Passare qualcosa a qualcuno. I could say passami il sale per favore. Passami il sale per favore. Let's look at andare incontro a qualcuno or correre incontro a qualcuno. So andare or correre incontro a qualcuno. My example is gli è corso incontro. Gli è corso incontro. Leggere qualcosa a qualcuno. Leggere qualcosa a qualcuno. The example is se vuoi ti leggo una storia. Se vuoi ti leggo una storia. And then scrivere qualcosa a qualcuno. Scrivere qualcosa a qualcuno. Le scrivi molte lettere? Le scrivi molte lettere? And now let's look at cantare qualcosa a qualcuno. Cantare qualcosa a qualcuno. Ci cantate una canzone? Ci cantate una canzone? Then we have mandare qualcosa a qualcuno or spedire qualcosa a qualcuno. So mandare or spedire qualcosa a qualcuno. My example is vi spedisco tutto domani. Vi spedisco tutto domani. And for rispondere a qualcuno, I would say rispondimi, rispondimi. Let's move on to lasciare qualcosa a qualcuno. Lasciare qualcosa a qualcuno. I can say ti lascio la torta in forno. Ti lascio la torta in forno. Then we have spiegare qualcosa a qualcuno. Spiegare qualcosa a qualcuno. And the example is le avete spiegato la situazione? Le avete spiegato la situazione? Tagliare qualcosa a qualcuno? Tagliare qualcosa a qualcuno? My example is gli taglio i capelli ogni 3 mesi. Gli taglio i capelli ogni 3 mesi. And I want to conclude with 2 verbs that are kind of tricky for English speakers, piacere and mancare. So you have to be careful because piacere a qualcuno means that somebody likes you, not that you like somebody. And mancare a qualcuno means that somebody is missing you, not that you are missing someone. So how would you translate these 2 examples? Ci piaci molto. Ci piaci molto. And the second example is vi manchiamo. Vi manchiamo. Alright, that's it for today. I hope that this episode was thorough enough and you got so much value out of the list of verbs, but also the many examples that I provided, and that this encouraged you to create your own examples. As I said earlier, feel free to practice in the comment section below or just leave questions. Give me a sense of how you're doing. Hopefully you were not overwhelmed, but in case you were, let me know so that I can pace myself next time. And as I said at the beginning of today's episode, you're more than welcome to come and join the live Q&A that I will be leading on June 9th. Don't forget to register for it. So once more, you will find the link in the description of this episode. Before we part ways, please do all the beautiful things that will help this channel thrive. Mainly liking the episodes, subscribing to the channel if you have not done it yet, and sharing this episode with anyone who might appreciate this type of content. Thanks in advance, and I will see you in a week. Ciao, a presto!